since the last time you were on the show, you came out with your new single payer plus healthcare.
Yes, we are working on releasing the full and detailed plan, but have been talking a lot about this with people in the town hall meetings that we're having. And one thing that's really interesting, I did an interview earlier today with a local TV news station. They're saying, well, you're not going to be able to get this passed through Congress because, everybody there hates anything that is a single payer program. But we've been hearing very different things from people on the road. Every single town hall meeting we have, every house party we have Democrats, Republicans, independents, and libertarians all coming together both to listen, to show support, to recognize that we've got to stand united as Americans for our country. And hearing from that, there was a guy who came to a town hall in Iowa who talked about how he gets together with the same group of guys every single weekend for coffee and breakfast on a Sunday morning, and all of his friends voted for Trump. And all of his friends are supporting whether it's a Medicare for all or a single payer plus type program, because they're all very concerned about their health care and the ability to make sure that whether it's for themselves or their loved ones or their kids, some of whom may have pre-existing conditions or rare diseases, that they're not going to be able to afford the kinds of medicines and care that they need. So again, this is one of many issues where if you really expose the Washington attitude of self-serving politicians and the pay-to-play culture that big insurance and big pharma are contributing to, and actually just focus on how this is actually an issue that's bringing people together around one of the most basic essential needs that we have, then you see the opportunity to say, hey, healthcare should be about health care, not about a greedy for-profit driven system that actually ends up hurting people the most.
So it used to be that people were 100%, so 9 out of 10 Democrats, when polled a couple years ago, said they were for single-payer health care. And then even a majority of Trump voters were for single-payer health care. Then that really scared the hell out of them, right? Them being the lobbyists, the donor class, the big pharma health insurance.
Yeah.
And so they figured out, we got to start telling the pollsters to start asking this question in a way that scares the hell out of people away from Medicare for all.
Yeah.
So then they started to ask it this way. Hey, Bernie Sanders wants to take away all your health care.
Yeah.
He wants to make a private healthcare illegal and have the government run there. It's like people are like, holy shit, that seems radical, right? Even though that's not radical what he's proposing, but the way they're couching it makes people afraid, right? So now you see the numbers going down for people's approval of Medicare or single payer, but it's not actually. What they're just doing is responding to the scare tactics that are being used in the questioning. So what you seem to be supporting, and I just want to get clear. I know your plan isn't out yet, but people are saying, oh, Tulsi flip-flopped on Medicare for all. Now, you seem to be not wanting to outlaw private insurance, more like, say, what works in Australia.
That's
so
right.
Now I'm very familiar. I've been to Australia. I know how their system works. So you want to explain how I could help, too? Because
really in a nutshell, it is making sure that through a single-payer plus plan, every single American would automatically be able to get the care that they need through this plan. If you also want to purchase a supplementary insurance plan, or you've got an employer-sponsored plan, or you have something else going on, you have the freedom to do so if you want. But that does not undermine or take away from every single person being able to get the quality care that every single American deserves.
And everybody pays in. So nobody gets to opt out. So the way it works in Australia, and they call their system Medicare,
right,
is everybody pays in.
That's right.
And so, but you can also then purchase, but when you pay in, you don't get to choose your doctor, but you get to choose your hospital. You get to go to a hospital, you get to get taken care of, but you might have to share a room and you don't get to choose your doctor. Now, if you buy private insurance on top of that, you're allowed to then also pick your doctor and get a private room because you're paying more for that thing so that's the way they run it there. And it seems everybody was really happy with their health care, and they couldn't believe how we did it here in the United States. So that, to me, is 1,000% improvement. That certainly is still Medicare for all. It's just a Medicare for all. So the problem, it used to be if people kept private insurance, was that some people could opt out. You can't have that.
Yeah.
Everybody has to pay in.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right? So you're
because
still...
that's really what makes it so that you're bringing the costs down, because obviously you're taking away the the massive big insurance overhead profits. You're creating the ability for our government, the largest purchaser of prescription drugs in the world, to negotiate lower prescription drug prices with big pharmaceutical companies, have you taking advantage of that leverage that we have as their number one client in the world, bringing those costs down and making it so that, hey, I don't go to see the doctor very often. Obviously, I want to be able to be there, him or her to be there when I need him, but I don't go and see the doctor very often. Other people may have other needs. They need to go and see the doctor more often. This is what allows us to keep those prices down, keep the costs down for everyone, while also taking a very clear focus on preventive care. I think too often we talk about the healthcare system and the rising cost of healthcare in a one-dimensional way without actually focusing on what it would look like to have a healthcare system that promotes prevention and health and well-being.
Yeah, that Medicare for all will happen before that happens. I'll tell you that. Because you think you're going to beat big sugar and fast food and junk? They're not going to.
I think we just start with information.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of. I think we start with informing people about. Even just the simple things like putting the calorie and nutritional content up on different menus. I don't know about you, it makes me look twice for okay, maybe I want to choose this over that. And number two, dealing with the food deserts that we have in this country in a lot of urban cities, a lot of communities of color, communities of poverty, where they don't have choices. So you can give people information, but if they don't have the option that they can either afford or walk down the street. We were in Detroit not long ago, and we were visiting with some urban farmers there. And they just talked about in their neighborhood, the liquor store was the only place that they could go to get, their milk or their bread or the groceries that they needed. So there's no Whole Foods, there's no local farmers market going on there. And this is something those people were trying to fix. They're growing food. They're turning vacant lots into urban gardens, teaching people how to grow food, how to cook healthy food. These kinds of things are happening in communities across the country. I think we got to place a greater emphasis on that, both information and access to quality, healthy food.
But you still are a firm supporter of Medicare for all. You just have a little bit, and it's not. I hear when I don't want to, but when I hear Pete Buttigieg talking about his plan, it seems very disingenuous because
I think that's one of the problems with using kind of the term Medicare for all has become something so ambiguous and meaning something different to so many other people, which I think requires actually some explanation.
So Tulsi had to leave, but what I wanted to say about her healthcare plan before we dropped this video was that. So there's two things about her healthcare plan. One, the beauty of it is that it takes away the right-wing talking point. Like I was saying, I tried to say, but I didn't. Again, we didn't have enough time. Time was pressured. But what I was trying to say was that most people are for single-payer, but they can talk them out of it or scare people with how they couch it. And so Tulsi's approach, which, as far as I can tell, uses the Australian model. She agreed. I said, is it Australian model? She said, yes. Takes that talking point away. It takes the talking point away of, hey, they're going to take away your health care. They're going to take away your health care. They're going to make it illegal for you to get private health insurance, and then the government's going to run in. And so that takes away all that because they're not outlawing private health insurance. Now, the problem, there's a problem with that. My preference is for a Bernie's plan. But the overall important thing is that everybody pays into the single payer Medicare, right? So with people like Pete Buttigieg, you can opt out. You have to opt in. This, everybody's in. Everybody's in. You can just get stuff on top of it. So if you know how the Australian system works, that's that. So the drawback of that is that you still have private insurance, which I don't like. That's a drawback to that plan. Still, also, it starts to create kind of a two-tiered healthcare system. The idea of everybody getting the same Medicare for all, the beauty of that is if the powerful people in the culture and the rich people in the culture have the same experience when they go to the hospital or get the health care as poor and working people, then they'll make sure it's running properly. That's the idea. But in this new one, everyone will be in Tulsi's. Again, it's not my preferred plan. It's a better. It's certainly 1,000 times better than Obamacare. It's not quite Bernie's plan, but the beauty of it is it takes away that right-wing talking point of scaring people about they're going to take away your health care. They're going to take away your private health insurance. They're going to make it illegal for you to get. So it takes away that, which then you can make the decision on, it's like 6 of one, half a dozen, right? So the part about Bernie's plan is that it can be hacked at with that right-wing talking point, and we've seen it successfully done. That they can lower people's approval of single payer by scaring them that way. So anyway, that's my again. I think the gold standard is Bernie's plan. I think what Tulsi's plan does that's good is that it takes away that right-wing talking point while still enrolling everyone in a single payer system. So if you want to know more, I'm sure she doesn't have it up on her website. I'm sure she will. But if you want to go look at how Australia's works, and that's what it is. Are there problems with it? Sure. Is it as good as Bernie's? No. But again, it's like you're making a trade-off. She cancels out that right-wing talking point with her plan. So there you go. So now you make the decision. So there it is. And now you get to choose. I just wish we had more times that I could have gone into it more with her. A lot of things I didn't get to go into, but that's one of them. There you go. Thanks. Come see our live show. We're going to be in Honolulu on December 27th. We'll be in Portland, Oregon, and then we go to Tempe, Arizona, San Jose, California, Sacramento, Miami. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all our live shows coming to a town near you, and become a patron or support the Jimmy Dore Show. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com, become a premium member. Thanks for your support.